Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Zenform. Today we're diving into something that's been on my mind lately, Kaiju No. 8. I know my voice sounds a little weird guys, so just bear with me as we get through this video because I had to make this video before it becomes mainstream and becomes everyone's favorite anime. So just stick with me, like, subscribe, watch to the end and share because this video is going to be a really good one. I think I can easily convince you that Kaiju No. 8 needs to be one of your top 10 anime. This anime has been creating new waves and I just had to talk about it. But before we get into that, let's chat a bit about why certain tropes in fiction start feeling so repetitive as we get older and as we continue to watch more and more anime. So as we grow older and consume more media, we start to recognize patterns. Characters, story arcs, and even plot twists become pretty predictable, and I myself can attest to this because honestly, there isn't an anime that really surprises me. They always say, oh, your favorite new anime, best new anime, all the buzzwords and all the exciting trailers. Then you watch it and you're like, no, this reminds me of that, or this reminds me of that. You know what I mean? It's rare that you find an anime that's fresh. Even if it does remind you of something, it just has its own unique spin that reminds you of nothing that you've ever seen before. So it's like we've seen it all before, right? But that's where Kaiju No. 8 stands out. It takes familiar tropes and it gives them a fresh spin. So what is Kaiju No. 8 about, you ask me? Picture this, a 32-year-old janitor as the protagonist. Sounds unusual, right? Let's dive into Kafka Hibino's story. And what's making this anime so unusual and making it to make splashes in the anime space now is because it's a shonen anime, and shonen literally means youth. Whenever you hear All Might call him Midoriya shonen, he's literally saying Midoriya young man. But a 32-year-old is not considered a youth in Japanese standards. In some cases, youth go all the way up to 36, but that's for another day. But Kafka Hibino is already 32 years old, so it's very interesting that this story would be centered around a man who's technically already past his prime. Shonen anime usually be about characters that are growing up and going to reach their full potential with time. You know, if they start at 12, maybe by 20 they reach their full potential, which is still a little bit skewed as far as timelines go. But at 32, you are far past your prime, depending on what you're trying to do. I'm not gonna say for everything, but as far as for, you know, shonen-based anime, which usually include fighting type styles of skill, you're usually past your prime by the age of 32, or at least your potential is a lot more diminished by that age. Kafka Hibino had a dream to join the defense force and become a hero who protects people from kaijus. Kaijus are pretty commonplace in this world, hence the name Kaiju No. 8. Those gigantic monsters that wreak havoc on cities, but life had other plans. He ended up as a janitor for the very organization that he once aspired to join. Talk about a twist of fate. And as we know in the story, they explain that he tried and tried and tried so many times just to make it into the defense force, but he just was never good enough. He just always came up short. And I feel like this anime is so important because a lot of us can resonate to that. Your story doesn't always come true. You don't always get to be who you want to be. You know what I'm saying? You might have dreams of wanting to be an astronaut or maybe in the NBA. I know a lot of us, you know, black individuals want to be in the NBA or whatever race, just leaving race out of it. We all want to aspire to do great things, but as we realize with life, sometimes we come to see that we're a lot more average than we thought we were, and that's okay. It's not so bad to be average, but it just gives us perspective that, wow, like maybe I wasn't able to reach my dream because I should have set some lower standards, or I should have been more realistic with myself. So I think that is the tone and the setting with which we are introduced to Kafka Hibino. Despite his unfulfilled dreams, Kafka's passion reignites when a young recruit named Leno Ichikawa joins the Sweepers. The Sweepers are the group of people that clean up after kaiju battles, so they're like literally like the water boys, the towel boys for the defense force. Leno's enthusiasm sparks something in Kafka, pushing him to give his dream one last shot. Just when things start looking up, he gets attacked by a kaiju. One of them turns him into, you guessed it, a kaiju. You know, I like to leave spoilers out of my stuff, guys, but you guys really need to watch it. I think another interesting thing about Kaiju No. 8, and the reason it isn't mainstream now, is because go look at the thumbnails on Crunchyroll, go look at the trailers, and even the pictures, like just for the cover art of the actual show, it doesn't look very interesting. It doesn't give us a glimpse into actually the content and material of the show. It just looks pretty mundane and boring. You're like, what's this? Funny enough, if you check back a couple of my videos, I mentioned Kaiju No. 8. I thought it was going to be a video about huge monsters fighting each other, and I hate that more than anything. I literally made a video about that in Ninja Kamui. I call it the humanoid effect all the time. We do not want to watch big battles that we cannot relate to. We want to see humanoid battles, one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat. None of that weird Zoids or monsters. Like, it just gets, you know, Attack on Titan got a pass. They got away with it because their storyline was good and they figured things out as far as CGI, and the action was still, you know, manageable. But that being said, we don't want to see just, you know, regular ass monsters fighting and stuff. But Kaiju number 8 does a good job because Kafka Hibino's Kaiju form is actually a humanoid form, making him one of the strongest. Most Kaiju are actually big. And there's a lot of mystery swirling around Kaiju number 8 that we don't understand, so they easily suck the viewer in a very important and strategic way. Because of Ichikawa being there when Kafka transforms, he now is accomplice, so they keep it a secret from the defense force. And Ichikawa also tells Kafka that they have changed the age limit for joining the defense force because young people weren't joining enough. So Kafka now has one last shot at the age of 32 to join. Kafka's transformation was both hilarious and dramatic. It's a fresh take on the classic monster within trope. The show balances humor and serious moments brilliantly, making it stand out in a crowded genre. I will say I agree because honestly, I don't know, like, it's just good. It's a good show. Some shows, hint hint, cough cough, Demon Slayer, do a really bad job of humor, I'd say, in my opinion. I just don't think Demon Slayer is funny. But this isn't a Demon Slayer video, guys, so let's continue. And hey, if you're liking what you're hearing so far, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, guys. It really helps the channel and it doesn't take anything away from you. If you don't want to subscribe, then just leave the video. I won't hate you. I get it. And this is what makes Kaiju number 8 so special. It doesn't shy away from its inspirations, but offers a unique twist. The relationship dynamics, especially with Kafka's childhood friend, Mina, and potential love interests, are more complex and interesting than usual. And I'll agree with this because the tropes are there, they're just like turned on their head, if you will. Because I would say Mina is like the all might of her universe. Like, everyone aspires and loves her. Like, literally a lot of the Kafka's peers join the defense force in order to reach Mina and get to her. And so as far as power scaling goes, there are these kaiju suits, and your combat power is based on the ability of how much their suits made from the skin of kaiju, and how much relative power you can pull out in those suits is basically your power scaling. We have a couple of characters, for example, Kikoru Shinomiya, we have Lino Ichikawa, as well as Aoi Kaguragi, Iharu Furuhashi, and Haruchi Izumo. Well, I'm sorry I butchered those names, but Kikoru at the beginning of the show is already able to wield 45% of her combat power, making her a literal genius and child prodigy. I think she'll be the first one to follow in Mina's footsteps. We don't know how much power that Mina can bring out of her suit, but I'm guessing it's 100% because she is the captain of one of the defense forces. But that being said, life throws curveballs. Sometimes you have to let go of those dreams. As someone who shifted from being an athlete to a student to just literally making videos about anime, I can definitely relate to that. It gets tough seeing others achieve the dream that you once wanted. And as adults, we'll have to come to terms with this because I literally see this every day. Like, I'm watching some of these NBA guys that were once my age, now they're a little bit younger than me. And I'm realizing, like, wow, I guess I am getting old. Well, not old, but, you know, old in a relative sense. At only 5 episodes in at the time of this recording, Kafka's story resonates because it mirrors our own struggles with ambition and failure. He's the kind of protagonist we need, relatable, determined, and real. And I can say that a lot because a lot of the anime fans are not children, let's be real. The people that got anime to where it is now are realistically adults, people like millennials and the older Gen Z, to be honest. Like, we're the guys that really were watching anime, watching Dragon Ball in our mom's basement or in our mom's house, literally what, 15 years ago, watching Toonami, things like that. So now we're older, so I feel like the mangaka Naoya Matsumoto intentionally wrote the story like this to resonate with fans like us, and I think that's why this anime is going to be different than anything we've ever seen before, and we're really going to enjoy it. There was even a soundtrack by One Republic at the end of the song that's really fire, and the beginning of the soundtrack is fire. Like, I see that they're really going for hit. Like, this needs to be in the anime awards for this year. If not, I'm going to be really upset. If they keep this up, Kaiju number 8 definitely has the potential to become a classic. It's fresh, it's funny, it's full of heart. So if you haven't checked it out yet, do yourself a favor and watch it. You definitely won't be disappointed. I hope you enjoyed the video for this mini dive on Kaiju number 8. I intend to get a little bit deeper, maybe read the manga, maybe have some more video and content out for you to explore the world building and the lore as well. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this one, then there'll definitely be more videos coming. But before you go, remember to, as always, find your zen, your final form. I'll see you in the next one, guys.